To understand how this came to be, Digby writes, you have to go back to a column in the New York Times from 1996. Now, this is before the Monica Lewinsky bullshit. It was written by vicious right-wing columnist William Safire. He's the first one who called her a, quote, congenital liar, end quote. And all the crimes that Safire accused her of committing and lies he insisted she had told later proved him to be the liar. But it didn't matter. For many reasons, not the least of which was simple sexism, it was set in stone that this feminist lawyer first lady was devious, calculating, and power mad. Madame Defarge and Evita rolled into one. And the political press has filtered its coverage through that bullshit ever since. Yeah, I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of it. As far as politicians are concerned, I can't think of an American politician. I'm sure they exist, but I can't think of an American presidential candidate or president over the course of my lifetime who was not a warmonger, even going back to Kennedy. We will pay any price. We will go anywhere to whatever the fuck he was talking about. Remember that? Nixon. Oh, my God. Carter. I like him now, but, you know. Gerald Ford. Reagan. Pappy Bush. And then, of course, the filthy, stinking Bush crime family. And all the thugs around there. But, you know, the media refuse. I mean, they talk about George W. Bush's book. They talk about, Donald Rumsfeld was at a dinner. Ronald Reagan is a saint. Eisenhower was wonderful. Kennedy was bullshit. But when it comes to Clinton, they fucking go after her like she was Typhoid Mary, you know? And again, let me just say, I'm not going to vote for her for president. But this bullshit attacking and ripping her to pieces is a clear indication that what media really want. You know what they want? They want all kinds of fucking chaos. What they don't understand is that the first thing Trump and his minions will do will clamp down on the First Amendment. Are you shitting me? Kaboom! You watch. Amanda Marcotte has documented the current lock her up fever, what Digby calls that burning desire to see her humiliated and imprisoned, or in some cases executed. And that goes back to the 1990s as well. If anyone's to be fucking executed, how about Bush and Cheney? But you never hear that.
Except with you.
Except for me. Jesus H. bleeding Christ. And all this bullshit, as Digby points out, is fed by the press's insatiable appetite for these little tidbits, doled out piece by piece by these right-wing operatives, each story building on itself to create a narrative of crisis and criminality, despite there being no evidence whatsoever. Even when the goddamn head of the FBI, after all the interviews, comes out and says there was no criminal act. Did she fuck up? Oh, did she? Of course she did. But there was no criminal act. There was nothing to pursue any longer. Doesn't register. And James Comey is not a Hillary supporter. It doesn't matter. And then Digby points out that the assumption behind the Clinton Foundation scandal is that the mere possibility of impropriety, the possibility is a form of corruption, despite there being absolutely zero proof that any favoritism or transaction actually took place. And, I talked about this last week. I don't need to remind anybody again. Nobody needs to remind me. There's not a goddamn politician from Barack Obama all the way down to the sewer pits of the right wing who does not accept from their mega donors their mega money and then do favors in return. Are you kidding me? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing this corrupt media and this filthy Nazi co-conspiring to, and all the people, all these blondes that speak for Trump. Have you noticed this? Fucking blondes. All over. Where do these blondes come from? They're all blondes. What is this, the blondes' revenge? Remember all the blonde jokes? And I see them on CNN and MSNBC, and oh my God. And they must go into an intensive where they're taught to just keep talking no matter what the news person said. Just keep talking and talk about all the nonsense and bullshit and always say, no, that's not true. And always and no matter what they say, MSNBC and CNN just brings them right back. Oh yeah, this is fun. And these jerk-ass TV stars seem to think, I guess, that on some level, they may feel like they're exposing the bullshit of the Trump campaign. Not realizing, I guess, that the average Trump viewer doesn't see it, or supporter doesn't see it that way. Every time one of these assholes is on CNN or MSNBC, it solidifies the idea among the Trump assholes that these are legitimate people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on TV. And the anchor person is just being a bitch by asking questions like that. Oh my goodness, why doesn't Trump release his tax returns? Oh Jesus, who cares, right? Well, you better care, Miss Trump supporter. Digby writes, recently there has been some pushback coming from several journalistic quarters, which is new. The erroneous AP report that Clinton had pretty much given exclusive access to Clinton Foundation donors was ably dispatched by Matthew Iglesias of Vox. Josh Marshall of Talking Points Memo has challenged several stories, including the breathless expose about a Clinton associate asking for diplomatic passports to rescue 2 journalists in North Korea. James Fallows in The Atlantic recently revisited his book from 20 years ago called Breaking the News: How the Media Undermine American Democracy. And apparently in this Atlantic article, he bemoaned how current coverage shows little improvement in the past 20 years.